All right, let's do a breakdown of the Women Tribe NFT collection launch and talk about what they did right, what they did wrong, and what we can learn from it for our own launches. So, first and foremost, they sold out. They sold out for the actual public sale in 10 seconds, which is crazy. So let's break down exactly what they did. First and foremost, the art was beautiful. It was never before seen kind of art. I'll make sure that I post it below with this video, but it was very unique. And what else was unique about it was that the artist was essentially like the manager of the whole thing. She did it all. She of course had help and things like that, moderators, but she was the business side of things. She was the art side of things, which I don't recommend. But for a lot of us, that's what we have to do. Another thing that she did right is that she got counsel. She got advisors on her team that have done it before, that have really helped her and guided her. She had an overall strategy, a marketing strategy, but she also got tactical. So a lot of times I see people have this overarching strategy, but they don't exactly know, like on a day-to-day basis, how they need to implement it, or they just don't have a strategy and they just show up and post every day with kind of like no rhyme or reason behind it, which sometimes can work, but also can sometimes blow up in your face. Sorry, I have my notes here, so that's what I'm looking at. She showed up consistently, like probably every week in Twitter Spaces. She showed up, and her mods, everyone showed up in their Discord as well. They showed up on the daily. They were very consistent in how they showed up and when they showed up. And it really built a lot of trust for people in their community. And it also allowed for them to get to know the artist herself and the people behind this collection really well. They got to know the story, they got to know the team, and again, I cannot stress enough just consistency. They didn't go crazy just right before launch. Like, they were slowly and consistently building. Another thing I like that they did was that they didn't pick a date and then just go. They built first, knowing that they're going to launch. And once they felt that the community was in a really solid place is when they picked the launch date. This is key. So many times clients come to me and they already have a launch date planned, but they don't really have a solid community. And that's where they fail. Mommy. And I shouldn't even say fail, because they didn't. But people have this idea that they have to launch and they have to sell out for it to be a success. And that's not the case. If you want to do that, build a community first, then create the date. Again, definitely don't need to do it that way. You can launch and not sell it, and it's okay. You just need to make sure that you're still showing up consistently, you're still building community, you still have that momentum going, and you're selling on a consistent basis. There's another, maybe I'll do another breakdown on them, but Fierce, they're an NFT that did that, and they're doing really well at launching, but then, keeping the momentum going. Okay, what else? Oh, their pre-sale. Okay, so their pre-sale, it wasn't that bad. It probably could have been better and a little bit more inclusive. Okay, so their pre-sale, what they did was that you had to show up to one of their Twitter Spaces, and then you would get put into a drawing for a pre-sale spot. Now, again, it's much better than just grinding the Discord. That is a very old marketing paradigm and marketing tactic in the space that needs to go away. Showing up in Twitter Spaces, that's not great for everybody. However, it's much better than just showing up a bajillion times and having to get to a certain stature and a certain rank before you can get to pre-sale. So they could have done a little bit better, but in regards to most things, they did pretty good. What else? Okay. Oh, and what I like too is that they knew their target market. They went after people who were new into the space. So they set their price point at 0.04 ETH, which is probably like about 60% under what people normally launch with. So they wanted to get people in there because they wanted people coming to the space. They wanted to give a good price point so they could come in and change their lives. And because of that, they did a lot of education. They also made it so that their community, that essentially the pre-sale was 75%. So 75% of sales went to this pre-sale spot. And they also gave it full 4 days so that they could help people mint if they needed help. So of course, this is very geared towards the newbies in the space. All right, let's talk about what they could have done much better. First and foremost, I think they did wait a little too long to launch. They had a huge community that it was bound to sell out and bound to kind of make people mad, especially the ones who have been there forever and never got a pre-list spot. So I think they launched with like 14,000 people in their Discord. That doesn't include people following them on Twitter or anywhere else. Now, it didn't help that Eva Longoria came onto the project at the very end, but I think that this would have happened with or without her, just because it was so big. And they did a very good job about over-communicating their story, who they are, how to mint. They did not do a good job at all about really getting into what it's like emotionally, physically, technology-wise during launch. So I think they put up like 1 or 2 posts that said, hey, if you didn't get a pre-list spot, like this is going to probably go fast, but just to let you know, you should increase your speed, which is going to cost more ETH, but you might also lose it. They said that, and it was also in a way that was like very kind of like hidden. But when it happened and it sold out in 10 seconds, people were really pissed, especially because people lost hundreds of dollars in ETH. And I don't think they realized like how nervous it was going to be, how nerve-wracking, and just all of the emotions that you go through for a really big launch. Now, they did do a really good job about hiring a developer for contracts and things like that in regards to keeping bots out of the website and keeping bots out of the minting process and all of that. And their contract did keep the ETH pretty low for the most part. So they did a good job there. Just it was the whole over communicating. They should have done a way better job about really getting into the emotional side of things and the fact that you might lose ETH and that you probably will, because only 25% were actually going to get in, and the rest were going to try to get in but lose their ETH. So that is one thing that really made people very upset, made people really just put a bad taste in their mouth about the community. And I'll keep my eyes on this, but they have not yet come back and, really said anything about it. So they may do something to make it right. Like they may do like another like kind of different launch for some OGs, or maybe give some gas fees back. I don't know. But I would do something, because their Discord was a shit show on launch day. And then there's the people who got pre-sale or telling, the other people who didn't get it to stop being whiners. And there should have been a lot more modification in there and a lot more communication in the Discord. They were on Twitter Live when this all went down. And I think instead of being in Twitter Live, they should have been in their Discord instead, taking care of their people. So overall, really great launch, really great marketing. And they did really take good care of their people up until literally launch day, which I think is probably going to be one of the most important things in regards to keeping the momentum going and just really nurturing your community. So think about how you can take away some learnings from here and how you can apply it to your launch day, whether it be, if a one-on-one launch or a small launch or a huge launch. There are lessons to be learned in all of this.